Hi everyone, and welcome back. So this is video number 4 in my marriage series. If you have not watched video number 1, number 2, and number 3, go ahead, go back, check it out. It's on my channel. I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy it. But for today, we are talking about how to stay in love. And I think that this is a really important topic. It's funny, I guess I kind of want to share this part with you. I have my legs crossed and my arms are sort of like just rested, and I kind of have like this kind of like relaxed mode going on because it's a very serious topic. And I want to really be able to just speak from the heart when I'm talking about this. I do have some notes here, and of course I'll look at them, but I really do just want to have like just a little heart to heart when it comes down to this topic of how to stay in love. And the very first thing that I'll tell you is that you have to have communication. Now, I know what you're thinking. I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, that's right, communication is key. We always hear that, in reference, especially in reference to romantic relationships. I think that it should be applied in all relationships, but especially in romantic relationships, one of the first things that we'll hear is communication is key. And it is. It really, really is key. But the communication that I'm referring to is communication with the Father, okay? Communication with the Father. And let me tell you what I'm thinking, what my thoughts are. So I'll set you up a little bit and then we'll talk about that. So when we think about the love that we have for our spouse, that we have, right, for our significant other, we think about maybe the butterflies in our stomachs, right? We think about how we saw them, how we laid eyes on them, and how attractive they were. We think about how they've checked off certain boxes, right? We know that they are responsible human beings, right? So I'm talking about a healthy relationship. I'm not talking about a relationship that you should be getting out of, where there's probably abuse, where you know that maybe you got into this relationship and you shouldn't have gone into it, and maybe God has already revealed it to you that you should be coming out of this relationship. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about relationships that are healthy, right? So you have those butterflies in your stomach, you guys hit it off, you go out on dates, it's just going great, right? And so you get into this marriage relationship, things are going really, really well for you. Well, here's what I have to say about maintaining that relationship, right? One of the ways that you are going to continue to stay in love is if you maintain the love, right? And I believe that one of the ways that you maintain the love is if you know what love is really all about. A lot of us are going back to those feelings, those tingly feelings that we have on the inside of us. And I think that that's perfectly fine. I think you should have those types of feelings when you're with someone that you are spending the rest of your life with. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens when times get hard, right? What happens when your marriage is in a different season? What happens when the two people evolve and they change, right? What happens then? You can't really go back to those butterfly feelings. It's not going to be enough. You are going to really need all the different components of love. And who else can we go to find out more about what love is really all about, to find out how to love even during the dark times, even during the hard times? Who else can we go to but the Father, right? He is the master of love. He created it. He knows all about it. He knows how to show love even when we're not doing the right things, right? When you go into the Bible, you see how groups of people did the wrong thing over and over again, and God came and he showed his love. When people did the right thing, he showed his love, right? And so I truly believe that in order for us to stay in love, we have to be in communication with God, because when we continue to be in communication with him, he'll reveal to us what love really looks like, right? It's not just the tingly feelings. It's not just, the hearts, that we like to draw on pieces of paper and color in and say, you're my Valentine, right? It's so much more than that. It's hard work. It's hard work. And I truly believe that if you go to the Father and you understand from the Father's perspective what love really looks like, then you walk away with not just one view of love, but the multiple views, right? The multiple layers of love. And then you're able to take that and apply it to your marriage relationship. So when it's hard, you know, oh, I need to go ahead and apply the love that the Father applied when people were not following directions, when people were sinning, right, within the Bible, when people were just doing their own thing. I need to apply that kind of love right now. And when people did the right things and God blessed them, oh, now I get to apply this love right now. So the number one thing that I believe that we should be doing on a consistent basis is talking to the Father, praying to God, opening up our word and reading it. That is the way that we will know all the multifaceted ways that we should be loving our spouses, right? And that's not going to happen unless we really do the work. So step number one is to communicate with the Father so that he can reveal to you what love really looks like, all the different ways, right? All the different layers of love, so that we can then understand in the different seasons and in the different times of our relationships, especially as we grow and evolve as people, how to love our spouse. You're not going to continue to love your spouse if you're not maintaining the love. And you can only understand how to maintain it when you go to the Father. The second thing that I want to talk to you about as far as how to stay in love is communication. Now, before I spoke to you about communication with the Father, this time I'm talking about communication with your spouse. And this is one that we've heard over and over again. The other piece to the communication that is really, really important, and not a lot of people talk about it or discuss it, is that there has to be a level of understanding. You can communicate lots of different things, but if the person receiving your message does not understand fully what you're talking about, they could walk away with an understanding that you didn't necessarily try to communicate, right? And so I think it's actually both of your job. It's your spouse's job along with your job to make sure that they are walking away with the information that you want them to understand, that you want them to know. So I'll give you a good example. I had texted my husband and I asked him for some Purex detergent, right? Purex. So I went ahead and I said, hey, can you get 4 of them? And so he comes home with the Pyrex glass containers, Pyrex. And I'm thinking to myself, we have enough of those. I wonder why he purchased more. And I thought, well, maybe he saw that there was a need, but I was a little confused by it. And so I looked around and I didn't see the detergent. So I said, what happened? Did they run out of the detergent? What happened? Why didn't you purchase that? And he said that's not what I said. And I was like, no, I did. I texted you that. Didn't I? So I look, because I had a feeling that maybe I was just wrong, but I wasn't sure. So I looked at the text message and he was right. It had auto-corrected to Pyrex. And I was just like, no. So did I communicate? Yes, I did. I communicated. But was the right thing communicated? No. Now, was it entirely my fault? No, because of the autocorrect. But what I could have done, right, is that I could have went back to double check. And I think that's something that we can do too, right? I don't think that it necessarily has to be done all the time, especially if you're communicating a piece of information that you've communicated before, right? Maybe a set of directions. And if the person got it right the first time, then maybe you don't need to keep saying it over and over again. But if this is maybe new information, especially if it's new feelings that you may have, I think that it's really key for you, after you're done explaining yourself and communicating, for you to then ask your spouse, hey, what do you think about that? What did you get out of that? So that when they are now talking back to you, if you can pick up from what they're saying that they understand what you were conveying, then you know they fully understood your message. But if they begin to say something that's not what you were trying to convey or not what you were trying to share, then you know that they probably just didn't fully understand what you said. And then you can begin to clear up some of those misunderstandings. And so, yes, communication with your partner is key, but I think that what's really important is that you go back and you make sure that your partner understands everything that you shared with them. The third thing that I think that you should do in order to stay in love is to be honest. Be honest. I think one of the reasons this is really important is because if the other person realizes that you are upfront about information and you're not hiding things from them, and you share your thoughts and you share what's happening to you, the good, the bad, the ugly, then this person will have a closeness to you, right? And I think that that closeness makes them feel like you really respect them and you really care about them and you really want them in your world. And so I think honesty is a really important factor in staying in love. The fourth thing that I believe that you need in order for you to stay in love is intimacy. Now, I know in my last video, I did bring up how a woman should put on lingerie, and then afterwards have fun with her spouse. And I do believe in that type of intimacy. And I think that's very much important in a marriage relationship. But this time around, I'm talking about a different type of intimacy. This intimacy has to do with you being very vulnerable, being very open, being curious, right, with one another. And I also think that there's even a level of intellectual intimacy that I think can really help you to stay in love. So for example, I absolutely love history. I love Black history. I love other types of histories as well, but I would say that the main type of history that I really like to talk about and really analyze and discuss, I would say, is Black history. And so that is a topic that both my husband and I can talk about for a very long time. And I just love how he brings up different aspects of it. I'll talk about it in different ways just based on the knowledge that I have. And we just will talk about, well, what if this happened? How do you think this would have turned out? Or what if this would have occurred? What do you think would have happened? And so I really do, enjoy that type of intimacy that I have with my husband, where I'm able to just really get out all of my thoughts. And then sometimes there might be things that's on my heart, and I might feel as though like I have to put like my heart out on the table. And sometimes even with someone like my husband, who I've been with for close to 20 years now, sometimes it could feel a little like awkward. But as awkward as it might feel to talk about certain things, I do believe that when you are very open with your spouse in that way, I do believe that it does bring you closer, because you're talking to your spouse about something that you don't talk to, or you would not talk to anyone else, about. Maybe God, right? But besides God, you wouldn't talk to anyone else about this particular topic. And so that does bring you to a place where you're very close to this person. You feel like you know them on a deeper level. And I believe that that really does help you stay in love. So those are the 4 things that I wanted to share with you today. If there are other things that you can think of in terms of ways to stay in love, please share it with me, because as I said before, I am no expert. I have just had about 15 years of experience in my marriage relationship, and I just wanted to bring this series to you. And so that concludes this series, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you think that there is someone that would enjoy it or someone that could benefit from it, let them know about my channel. Let them know about the video so that they too can benefit from the information that was shared in this series. So thank you so much once again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.